Hey, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. I am Desiree Hall of Real Love Ministries, and I want to welcome all of you to Real Love Ministries Live, where we introduce men and women that are doing great, phenomenal things in the community, in our cities and our nation, that are making big waves, that are touching people's lives. And I am so happy to be back with the Real Love Ministries Live for our new spring episodes. Yay! Yes. And I think it's to your right that you're looking at this beautiful queen that I met over the internet. Yes, her name is Miss Olivia Simmons. She is a plus size fashion influencer, an author, praise and worship leader. So much. She's going to tell you a whole lot more about her. And I am just so excited to start our new segment with Olivia Simmons. We want to welcome her on tonight. Thank you, Olivia, for coming on with me. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just like, how are you? I'm so happy to be here
I
tonight.
am wonderful. You look beautiful as ever.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Now, let me just give them an insight, because I just told them that we met online,
Yeah.
and we have similarities.
Mhm.
You like Ashley Stewart. I like Ashley Stewart.
Yeah.
You're plus size. I'm plus size.
Yeah.
You're doing your thing in fashion.
Mhm.
And from what they tell me, I'm doing mine. We're both into makeup. Mary
Yeah.
Kay. Yes.
Right.
Hey, sis. Yes, I'm not into it like I used to be, but I'm still a part. I'm still connected.
Mhm.
And I love Mary Kay. So we have all of these things going for us. But
Mhm.
when I first saw you, you were being featured on Ashley Stewart. Many people don't know, but Ashley Stewart has this, let's say, this segment where they feature a lot of their customers
Yeah.
wearing their outfits, and I'm pretty sure that thousands and millions of people pour in their pictures every single day, and
Mhm.
only a few are selected. And
Mhm.
I was watching, and you were featured that day. I was like, yes, do your thing, girl. You were looking good.
Thank
And
you.
we just pretty much kind of connected from
Mhm.
there. So
Mhm.
that's my opening about you. I want you to tell them about who Olivia Simmons is.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you, Desiree, so much for having me a part of this beautiful platform. I'm so excited to be here. Everybody, my name is Olivia Simmons. I reside in North Carolina. As Desiree stated, I am a worship leader at Christian Provision Ministries, where my pastors are Bishop Charles and Pastor Patty Millette. Woo woo. By trade, I am administrative specialist with Workers Comp Insurance Company. I am an author of 8 Minutes with God, which is a prayer devotional that was released back in 2020. And I'm actually in the process of writing my second book, which is called My Sister's Keeper, which is actually a story about my sister Joy, who has transitioned to be with God back in 2019. I love fashion. I love Ashley Stewart. I love Mary Kay. I'm just your girl that's, hey, you will have a good time and love God first and just loving life. That's who I am.
Yeah, so y'all see, those who know me, isn't it a connection, right? So look, tonight, everybody, we're going to talk about faith, fashion, and life.
Mhm.
And when I first met Olivia and I began to look at her stuff, I said, this young lady has a story. And God just, placed it in my heart to reach out to her,
Mhm.
because I knew that it was more that she had to give. And God just led me right to her, to invite her on this platform. And we were talking, I was like, I don't know what God is doing. I don't know why
Yeah.
but I do believe that God has a plan
Mhm.
for your life. And
Mhm.
we just want to hear a little bit about your journey, in the fashion industry, stepping out into the fashion world as a plus size
Mhm. Mhm.
influencer, also your faith. Your
Yeah.
faith, how your faith played a part into it,
Hmm.
as well as how you deal everyday life as a fashion influence, a praise and worship leader, an author. So many times we wear so many hats, and I just want to know how you balance and do it all. So look, let's begin. Let's talk about fashion.
Okay.
Okay, being a plus size influencer, tell me, who is like your favorite fashion icon or your favorite fashion designer?
My favorite, of course, I love everything Ashley Stewart. I love one of the main models. I think her name is Wandra. I think
Hmm.
follow her on Instagram, and she's like one of my favorite authors. I mean, not authors, my favorite fashion influencers. I love how she carries herself. I mean, she's always just like always together. So she's like one of my favorite ones that I like to follow.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Now, to tell you, I also am a big supporter of Ashley Stewart,
Hmm.
and I always follow D. And as far as my fashion design, I have a favorite fashion designer. I love stylist Jay Bolin. I think he is.
Yes. Yes.
Come on, he is stepping through. He Let me tell you, from the beginning of the pandemic, I didn't realize how much I love fashion until
Hmm.
I was kind of like home and going through a whole lot of stuff,
Yeah.
and I would just watch Jay Bolin all the time, and I love how he caters to the more curvier plus size girl. You
Hmm.
know, let me ask you this. I hope you all are hearing me. I think the sound is going in and out a little bit, but I hope you all are hearing me clearly. Please comment and let me know if you all can hear us in the comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, we're on fashion. We're talking about fashion. Do you
Hmm.
feel that there should be, or that there is a stigma that the world puts on plus size, where they should be restricted to wear certain things, like in color? Because I heard growing up, oh, plus size people shouldn't wear red, or they shouldn't wear this color, or they shouldn't wear pattern. Their stripes should be going, vertical and not horizontal. It was just so many different restrictions. Do you feel
Hmm.
that in the plus size industry or plus size fashion, should there be any restrictions?
No, there should not. For years, we have me personally. I've always worn black because they said black was slimming. We always stood to the the basic colors. But I'm so glad that the fashion industry has now included like bold colors because I love like color. I don't like some black is great. I mean, but I love the bold color, I like the brightness of it. So I don't think there should be any type of restriction at all. Patterns look great. It's all about mixing and matching. You as an individual know what looks great on you. I may not look great in stripes, but the next person may. So you have to kind of like know what fits you.
Exactly. And I totally agree. It happens like recently this happened, that I realized I like more the brighter colors.
Yeah.
And I love patterns and prints, and
Hmm.
a whole lot of color. And that
Yeah.
was something that I really didn't do,
Hmm.
back in the day, because
Right.
I was told, black is more toned down, go with
Yes.
more of your neutral colors, you
Yeah.
know, the earth tone colors,
Hmm.
because it kind of calms it down. So
Yeah.
I was like, no, that don't even match my personality. Let me
No.
start jumping out with the pinks and the blues and
Yeah.
the yellows, the more the vibrant
Hmm.
colors, because
Yeah.
I felt that fit my personality.
Yeah.
And when it came down to prints and patterns and different colors, I love to play in it. I'm like the Crayola box sometimes, but it represents, me as a person. So I totally agree with you that I don't think that any fashion restrictions should be on the plus size, in plus size fashion.
Yeah.
Let's go to Faith. I know you say that you are a worship leader. How do
Yeah.
you do all this? Being a worship leader, what does that mean to you?
Worship, first of all, is a lifestyle. That's the main thing. It's not just on
Amen.
Sundays or when you go to church. It's consistent, like throughout the day, throughout the week. It's a time of preparation. There are times when you have to really seek God's face and set yourself apart because, in fact, you go before the army. Just like in Second Chronicles. That's like one of my favorite chapters, chapter 20, when it talks about how King Jehoshaphat, how they sought the Lord, and
Come
then
on.
they said, God said, the battle's not yours, it's the Lord's. He said, send forth the army of singers. And to the fact that where the enemy was, they like got confused and they began to fight one another. So that's I love that chapter of the Bible because it really shares and it really explains how powerful praise and worship is. Because of the fact like we are in front of the army, we do get hit, first.
Yes.
Like that's why it's so imperative that we put on the whole armor of God because you just don't know what you are like blocking people from getting hit with, and it's such warfare. It's like warfare, and I really try to live my life every day. I'm not perfect. I don't cross every T. I don't dot every I. But the thing about it is just like trying to be consistent in
Come
seeking
on.
God's face and like, okay, God, what do you want to share with me today? What do I need to share with someone today? Like, how can I be an encouragement to someone? So worship is I love being a worshiper. God called me to worship when I was 19 years old,
Amen.
and I'm 45. So I've been in this journey for a long time just to get to this point here, and I'm just grateful to be a part of a ministry where it has embraced praise and worship, and it really helps us to set the tone for the word to go forth. So I just love worship. I listen to it all the time. It's like heavy in my rotation on my phone. So yeah,
Amen.
yeah.
Amen. So
Okay.
I really thank you for that because you use that Bible passage, and that one's also one of my favorites as well.
Hmm.
And how did you use your belief, your faith in God into your fashion, or to even step out to be a fashion influencer, a plus size
Yeah.
fashion influencer, because we spoke briefly last night, and
Yeah.
you said plus size was a word that you really just started using.
I literally just started using that word after this thing, after everything happened with Ashley Stewart. Years ago, I was the type of person where I wore clothes that hid my shape, very baggy. I wore clothes that were considered like older fashion than the age that I was, because I was just like trying to just hide everything. So I was just like, okay, if I wore bigger clothes, then it would hide everything that's going on. But it was like, hey, the bigger clothes you wear, the bigger it makes you look. And so I really started to embrace who I am. For I am fearfully and wonderfully made. That's what God's word says.
Come
So
on.
once I embraced who I was, who Olivia was, the flaws, whatever, that I look in the mirror, I look at, say, okay, God, you said, let us make man in our own image. So when I look in the mirror, I should see you. You should see me. So I was just like, okay, Libby. Oh, I'm sorry, not Libby. That's my nickname. So you hear me say Libby. So yeah. So it's just like I said, okay, God, you created this body. When you see me, you see yourself. You love me. So I was just like, I need to love myself. And I think
Amen.
once my mind shifted into that, that's when I began to just really just blossom into like, okay, Olivia, let's wear you some great clothes. And like I just said a few months ago, I didn't start using the word plus size influencer until all this, through this situation happened with Ashley Stewart. Because I was just like, okay, well, maybe I am influencing somebody. Maybe I am, meant to be here as I don't know, not a mentor, but just like someone as an encouragement to a plus size person or a person who is not plus size but has issues with their self esteem and how they look. So yeah.
Yes, and you know what? I agree again, because even with me, when I think about my journey back, I think it's been almost a year and a half, 2 years, that I've been influencing in fashion, and I've been showcasing a lot of the Ashley Stewart brand. Basically, the majority of what I showcase is from Ashley Stewart. And my journey pretty much started out just purchasing their flash sale for $5, thanks to my sister and Brenda Cotter encouraging me to go to Ashley Stewart, because I'm like, no, that's not for me, or whatever. But I walked into that store one day and just bought bags and bags of clothes. And I just decided to, take pictures. I would take pictures, every now and then, just for the fun of it. But I started doing it for fun, because I'm like, people would not believe I bought all of this stuff for $5 a piece. So let me show everybody. But as I began to journey on that, not knowing that I was actually on a journey, people began to notice the pictures. And I was like, wow. And it was during the pandemic. Everybody was pretty much home or working from home. So that's all they were doing, sitting on their mobile devices, on the computer, and they were just noticing pictures. And I remember one lady was like, hey, what are you doing? Are you modeling for them? This is so encouraging, because you're a woman of God. You're a woman of fashion. And this is giving me hope. And just like you said, a lot of plus size people feel that they have to wear their clothes bigger. They have to hide their shape, and a lot of times it made them look even bigger or slouchy. So I was happy to actually, I'm like, hey, this is a brand that that platforms very trendy, nice clothes for the curvy plus size woman. And so when I began to get the inboxes, I said, God, this is bigger than me. And, I realized this is a way that you can actually influence, minister, encourage, even in fashion, through fashion. God can use the simple. So, I really thank God for that, that he is also using someone just like you to encourage so many, because as plus size people sometimes, because even in this, I was wondering, was I even big enough? So I remember even being, that like people always say, oh, you need to model. And I always thought that I was too big to model, right? So because society says you have to be a 3 or a 0, nothing at all. And so you was like, okay, what is it? And then now I said, okay, Ashley Stewart is looking, others are looking. Am I big enough to even consider myself as plus size? So many times we compare ourselves. We're hard on ourselves about our self-image, our own insecurities. And you said it. I am fearfully and wonderfully made by God. And one day I just, I was like, you know what? So big. I am who I am. And we have to learn, we have to embrace who we are, who God created us to be. And God told me, I perfectly packaged you for my purpose. So, that is something that we had to learn, because you're going to always find somebody more. You're going to always find somebody more smarter, more prettier, more thicker, more bigger, more smaller. So it's like you keep comparing yourselves with others, you're going to always be confused. So just love who you are. And just like you said, self-love, embrace your flaws and all. And I'm telling you, you will walk a blessed life. And Olivia, I am seeing that in you. I just love, let's talk about the journey. Everybody's hearing, what I experienced with Ashley Stewart. Like, what happened? What did she experience? And, through that feature, honestly, I was inspired by you, honestly, because I'm looking at this beautiful plus size young lady. You are bigger than me, and we all come in all different shapes, colors, and sizes. And I was like, I love the courage that you had, just to even do that shoot. I love the beauty that exuded from you. as a plus, I say you're making a statement for so many other plus size women or
Mm-hmm.
and men that may
Yeah.
be doubting themselves. Tell us about that journey from the beginning to the end,
Okay.
being featured by Ashley Stewart.
Okay. All right. So that photo shoot was for my birthday photo shoot back in February. And as I was picking out my clothes, of course, from Ashley Stewart, I was just like, let me buy some leather pants. People that know me, that was like something big. Like I would have never thought in the world that I would purchase leather pants for myself. And they had fringes on the side too. So I was just like, okay, I'm about to go all out. I'm about to be 45. Let's do this. And
Right.
had my photo shoot, and of course, shout out to Gabrielle Hitz, who was my photographer. And so it was a great day, had the photo shoot, everything went well, and it was just amazing. And so, I will always tag Ashley Stewart in my photos, just to tag, like, just to give credit to whom credit is due. And so it happened when I posted the picture, and I tagged Ashley Stewart, and when they inboxed me like a week later, it was just like, we want to feature you as part of customer spotlight. I was like, what? I was just like, just over the top. I couldn't believe, because I was just like, what? Ashley Stewart want my little picture, like me? Like, I felt like Brown from Meet the Browns. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I was so excited. I posted it on Facebook and everything like that. So they posted a picture. I was so excited. And so when I first saw it on Instagram, they had like 300 something thousand followers. And so I didn't even think about the Facebook page until someone tagged me, one of my friends tagged me on Facebook. And so I was like, oh my God, like, Jesus, I didn't realize that the Ashley Stewart's platform was that big. It was like almost a
Right.
million people. I was like, woo,
Right.
exposure. I was like, okay, guys, like, all right. And so then I was like, okay. So the comments started coming in. And that's when I started looking at what people were saying about me. And Desiree, it took me back to a place. Sorry. It took me back to a place when I grew up, like being picked on. I've always been a chunky girl. I've always been a plus size girl. And so, being picked on, kids like cruel or whatever. And so, um, it took me back to those school years. And I was just boo. I cried so bad. I was just like, these people are crucifying me. They're persecuting me. I was like, they don't even know me. And I had like a lot of people just going through, like, just really just trolling me. But then I had people that was supporting me, and then I saw people that was going back and forth with each other, fussing each other out, because I was like, what is going on? And I had to just like stop and just take a moment. I was just crying, and I called two of my sisters. From Spirit and Truth. Shout out to Adelia and Joanna. And I was just calling them, just crying on the phone. And they was like, what's wrong? I was just like, people are so hateful. People are so mean. And, you know, people were like persecuting me on one side. But Desiree, I didn't even tell you about this last night. The other clothes that I wore, another brand, the same time that people were persecuting me on Ashley Stewart, the other brand was like posting my pictures on their website. It was like so many things going on at the same time. And so I just had to like take a seat back. I was just like, God, what is going on? Like, you put me out here. I was like, God, they're persecuting me and they don't even know me. And God said, my daughter, my children persecuted me and they knew me. And I just sat there. I was just like, woo. I said, okay, that's all right. And I was just like, I wanted to go off. I wanted to go off, Desiree. And I had people that I'm surrounded by people that are very vocal. I'm an introvert, even though sometimes I come up as a social butterfly. But there
Mm-hmm.
were people that would say, well, Libby, we gonna say such and such and such. So it was kind of like going off, but God told me to stand still. Don't say
Yes.
nothing, because I'm gonna fight your battle. I
Yes.
said, I said, okay, God. It was hard, Desiree, to sit there and just watch how, like, those comments, and I just came off, because the more I started reading them, the more I began to get upset and hurt. And God was like, I got you. I said, okay, God. And God used Ashley Stewart.
Come
Like
on.
they came out the next day. Like it was so much they had to shut the comments down. They
Down. Yes.
down.
Yes.
And I was just like, what? I had like over 3,000 something views on the photo and like almost close to 1,000 comments. I was like, what? I was tripping out. I was just like, this is just me, Olivia. I'm just over here just loving clothes and just posted a picture of myself for my birthday and all of this happened. And
Mm-hmm.
so Ashley Stewart came out that next day and said, we do not body shame. We're not about that life. And God said, I told you that I had you. So God used the company to shut those people down.
Exactly.
So that was like
And
my journey to everything that happened with Ashley Stewart. Yeah. And so I
yeah,
just started using the plus size, like, okay, until after all that happened. So,
yes.
yeah.
And you know what? I was one of the ones that was like a Peter. Because I was like, I cannot believe this is grown folks doing this.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
know, I said that's what made me realize cyberbullying is real.
It's real.
It
It's
is
real.
so real.
Yeah.
And listen, everybody who's on this live right now, I want you all to be ever so careful about what you post, what you say, what you type, because you have no idea what other people are dealing with and what they're going through.
Yeah.
And Olivia, I was just so touched to hear you say that on last night, because I was very upset
Yeah.
when I began to read the comments, and I was like, I can't believe people are actually posting this
Yeah.
garbage. And I
Yeah.
said, this young lady is beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. And I saw courage. I saw fearless, just
Yeah.
coming out of you
Yeah. Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
And I was just very upset about the whole situation. And I was like, now I really understand uh,
Mm-hmm.
what they mean when they say cyberbullying will
It's
cause
real.
somebody to go into deep depression.
Yeah.
Bullying will cause people to want to commit suicide. How
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how they came at you. That was just ridiculous. But I'm so glad that Ashley Stewart stepped up,
Yeah.
stepped out, and
Yeah.
shut the whole thing
They
down
shut it
and
down. Yeah.
posted about body shaming. It
Yeah.
was necessary. I'm glad that they felt that it was necessary to do that and to
Yeah.
stand for the customers that are actually fighting for them and standing with them. So
Yeah.
it made me want to support them ever the more. And I also
Yeah.
commented on that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I will always be an Ashley Stewart girl. After they came, I was like, okay, yeah, you got me.
Yes, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
forever is Ashley Stewart, baby, all the way.
Yeah.
And, because these are the customers that you
Yeah.
service on the day-to-day basis. And I'm
Yeah.
like, look, I really wanted to, I was going on checking some of those pages. I'm like, I know they ain't talking. But,
Yeah.
true. But
Yeah. Yeah.
God in me didn't allow me to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't like when people are getting bullied,
Yeah.
whether it's
Yeah.
cyberbullying,
Yeah.
personal bullying. It's
Yeah.
wrong. It
Yeah.
is wrong, and you
Yeah.
have to care for the heart and the and empathize with others, because you have
Yeah.
no idea what people deal with on the
Yeah.
day-to-day
That's true.
basis.
That's so true. That's so
you
true.
know um and I'm, like I said, I am just so proud that it didn't stop you. I see
Yeah.
that you're still posting. I am so
Still.
glad that you're
Yeah.
still on this journey, because you are inspiring so many. And what the
Thank
enemy thought was for your bad, God turned it around for your good,
Yeah.
because through that you did gain a
Yes.
whole lot of other viewers, friend
I did.
requests.
I did.
We made a connection,
Yes.
and there are so many that actually cared about the heart of the person.
Yes.
So I am so grateful for that as well.
Me too. Me too.
Now through your journey, and we're gonna
Mhm.
we're gonna end it and wrap it up. We don't want to hold and I don't want to hold, we don't want to hold everybody else long either. But through your whole journey, from what you have experienced these past few months, what advice would you give other plus size fashion influencers, whether they're millennials coming behind you or there may be people our age and older that are
Mm-hmm.
just thinking about wanting to step out and wanting to touch people's lives, wanting to influence.
I would just say, first of all, embrace who you are, embrace whom God has called you to be, love who you are, first of all, and just step out in faith. You just never know who you're going to influence, who you're going to inspire. You just never know. Just make sure that that somebody might just need a smile, or something that you may post may just help brighten somebody's day. Like, don't allow your self insecurities stop you, because your self insecurities can be like the blocking of someone's blessing. You just never know
Amen.
what your life is doing. You never know who is watching you. You never know. People just like on Facebook, people will say like, "Oh my gosh, you really just blessed me," and I'm thinking like, well, I basically posted that for myself, but but God is good and He's faithful, and I just want to just encourage someone: don't let anyone stop you. Keep going, because the Bible is true and it says, "Now unto him who is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all we could ever ask or think,
Amen.
according to the power that worketh in us." So work the power that God has given you and watch God open up doors. So that's what, yeah,
Amen.
yeah,
Amen. And I thank you so much for that, Olivia. Thank you for sowing good seeds, seeds of good news, being that example, that public figure, because, once you start to step out and you be that influencer,
yeah,
not only in fashion, but in faith and
yeah,
in life, you're helping people, go through their life journey. And this is what I want to say to everybody that's listening as well. Don't take the simple as just simple,
yeah,
or you think it's insignificant. Even these little simple things as your simple post or a picture,
yeah,
it may be simple to you, but it's big to somebody else.
yeah,
you
yeah,
know and that's what I've also learned on this journey. And like I said, I've been watching you for some time now, even following you on Facebook, Instagram, and everything you post is so encouraging. And I want to thank you for that, because that encouraged me. And I just want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing with our platform on tonight and our audience. And I just hope everybody, you all go and you follow her on Instagram. Those of you who are on Instagram, I have it on the banner below. And I ask that you support her on her book project. She has another project coming out
yeah.
as well, but 8 Minutes with God. Just real quick, just tell us a little bit about the 8 Minutes with God book
Okay,
before we end.
okay,
And we just ask for everybody to support you. Give your contact information if they want to order the book, how they can order. If they don't have that Amazon account or don't use Amazon, how can they contact you? How can they stay connected? How can they just be encouraged by your posts, your life itself?
okay. All right. So 8 Minutes with God actually started from my pastor, Bishop Millett, back in 2017, which he challenged us to take 8 minutes out of the first of your day to pray to God. At that time, I was not in a place to pray 8 minutes. I said, "What?" I said, "8 minutes is a long time." Jesus, like, what? I did eventually, God began to discipline me. And then, God began to share with me like little posts. I began little posts on Facebook, little comments and engagement things. And then eventually, God transitioned me to open a book, to write a book. So that book is a transparent look at my life. I talk about everyday life, like finances, entrepreneurship, healing. I talk about relationships, like being single, married, children. I talk about emotions. I talk about how dealing with anxiety, depression, fear, and everything. And I talk about kingdom assignment, and I talk about like living your life, trusting God, trusting process, and everything that's in that book. I tell a part of my life, so I reveal a lot of my life in this book. I'm very transparent as much as God allowed me to be. I talk about how God delivered me from depression. It's just a whole it's like a book, a guide of how to pray for those that may not know how to pray. So I give like a little guide. Even if you are a prayer warrior, it's still a great book. So that's basically like a synopsis of 8 Minutes with God. You can find it on Amazon. It's available through the ebook format at this time, even though it might say paperback, but you get the ebook. But we believe in God that paperback will be available soon. And so now I'm in the process of writing my second book, which is my Sister's Keeper, which is about my sister Joy, who transitioned to be with God September the 12th, 2019. I talk about her life. I talk about what it is to be a sister's keeper. But I've been put on hold for like 6 months, but now it's time to get back because God,
Yes.
like, I need for you to push this book out because there are people's breakthrough on the other side of this book. So,
Amen.
this has just been like a little push, like, okay, Olivia, push this book out. So we're believing God that it is going to be published before the end of this year. So you can find it on Amazon, 8 Minutes with God. You can find me, of course, on Instagram at I_L_ Olivia Simmons. And of course, I'm on Facebook as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you all. Once again, I want you all to please support Olivia Simmons. She is a beautiful person, a beautiful woman of God that is, let me tell you, an asset to the kingdom. And
Thank
I
you.
just truly thank God for you sharing with us
Thank you
tonight.
too.
I thank you for sharing your story, being open and transparent with us
Yeah.
on your feelings and things that transpired. I just want to say thank you for being that light
Thank
because
you.
we need definitely more people like you. Um, and right through fashion, God used you. So thank you so much for joining us. I want to thank everybody who is on this live tonight.
Wow.
And I ask that you will share this live, be an encouragement to somebody, be an evangelist, and share this live because it may seem so simple, but these simple things and tips and scriptures that was given on tonight will definitely uplift and encourage someone else. So we thank you all so much, and we want you all to have a blessed night. Thank you for tuning in to Real Love Ministries Live.
Yeah.
Olivia, once again, I appreciate you.
Thank
Thank
you so
you
much for
all
having
so
me.
much. Good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.